Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, we're going to be going over a detailed Acolyte leveling guide here today. So we're going to go from level 1 all the way to A-Bomb currently, and we're going to be leveling with Chthonic Fissure and Infernal Shade. I'll talk about that more in detail when we get there, but pretty much if you need some help, you can always look at the planner down below as well. But essentially, we're going to be leveling with Rip Blood and Wandering Spirits for the first act. Here, we're going to be killing some enemies. Mainly, we want to get access to Summon Skeleton, as Summon Skeleton will increase our clear and our DPS early on very quickly. So we definitely want Summon Skeletons as quickly as possible, as it helps out a lot. Just so you know, this is being recorded on live at twitch.tv dreadful__ because I have very little time left and I need to get this working, so we're doing this live today. So say hello to YouTube, everybody, although they can't see like Twitch chat, whatever. Yeah. We are going to be specializing into Rip Blood first. The reason why we're specializing into Rip Blood first is because there's a node inside Rip Blood that gives you flat stacking damage per time you've cast Rip Blood in the last 6 seconds. Turns out, after doing a lot of work, this is like the most damage you can squeeze out of an Acolyte in like the first like 10 levels. Mainly because right now, all of your skills and everything that you do is balanced around you having an item that just gives you 2 flat damage. Meaning that if you add 20 flat damage, you're doubling your damage. Oh, you have 60, you're tripling your damage. So getting that much flat damage is very important early on. Yeah, here we're going to want to summon 3 skeletons. You want melee skeletons instead of ranged skeletons. The reason why you want melee skeletons for early on is because you want them to like body block enemies so that they're not like attacking you. We're going to attempt to do this deathless. I can't promise that we're going to get this done with deathless, but I'm going to at least attempt to do the run deathless. We'll see if we end up doing that or not. I will put it in the title if it is actually indeed deathless. But yeah, nothing too crazy right now. Just simply, you know, casting Rip Blood in enemies, using Summon Skeleton.
When you arrived, they were like, "Are you good? I will come."
Alright, our 4th minion is here. Thankfully, he's a lot better than the skeletons are because he has Snap Freeze, and Snap Freeze is a broken skill, so that's good. Thankfully, Rip Blood heals you as you're using it, which is miles better than a lot of other characters at this point in the game. It makes it very like safe leveling early on, like from level 1 to 10 or whatever, mainly because, you know, you just have so much sustain. We're going to be grabbing the Intelligence and the Necrotic Resistance. The reason why we're grabbing both of those is Intelligence just gives us 4% damage for each point. It also gives us a decent amount of ward retention, like 2% per point. So it gives us damage and ward retention and makes our skeletons tankier. That's good. Necrotic Resistance is very good for not only for a lot of different buffs while you're being a warlock, it also just is good in general due to necrotic damage being like a lot of damage in the like in the mid game or in the mid campaign. Necrotic damage does a lot of damage, so be wary of that. That's why we're grabbing so much necrotic res early on. Alright, cool. That's a beautiful wand. Absolutely beautiful wand. We're going to be looking for cast speed. Okay? Cast speed, percent spell damage, movement speed, physical resistance, and then HP, and then other resistances. In that order. Movement speed, spell damage, cast speed, physical resistance, HP, other resistances. I learned that you can actually skip this bastard. And you can just go over here instead. You don't even have to talk to him. It's very nice. You know, this music kind of reminds me of Dragon Age a little bit. My wife's been playing Dragon Age of late. It's been great. Watching her deal with the brood mother for the first time was rather entertaining. All right. Here we're gonna try to get to level 4, where we get access to our main DPS skill until later. It's gonna be until we get, of course, to Chthonic Fissure and Infernal Shade. All right, we're actually gonna be specializing Rip Blood. The main reason why is because of this node here, Arcane Absorption. Arcane Absorption in combination with Wandering Spirits is some of the highest DPS that you can get access to in the early game. It is absurdly strong. As you can see here, even just casting it on cooldown, the damage over time overlaps is crazy. Each one of these spirits does necrotic dot damage in an area, and they can overlap as well. As you can see, very, very good, and it lends itself to a playstyle where you just simply cast a few Rip Bloods, cast your Wandering Spirits, and then move on. A cool little tidbit, if you don't know, the way that last Epoch works currently, damage is snapshotted upon creation. So if I click on Wandering Spirits and then have all the Wandering Spirits spawn, as I'm casting Rip Blood, they'll get updated in terms of damage, like the ones that you make new ones of, right? So even casting while Wandering Spirits is still going is still a DPS upgrade. Make sure to cast your skeletons because they are pretty much the way that you don't die, especially in a situation like this. Like right now, you would, if you're like a mage right now, you'd effectively be like a coughing baby in terms of power. But right now, like, because I'm playing as an Acolyte, I can just simply hide behind my minions early on and not have to worry about it early on anyways. But yeah. Arcane Absorption giving us absurd amounts of flat. As you can see, whenever we're actually using Wandering Spirits, we do lots of damage. The only issue with Wandering Spirits is for superior single target DPS, you need access to the boss's hitbox. So you have to be near the boss. As you can see here, if you're near the boss, what happens is like the damage is like spawning around you. Said, keep grabbing intelligence and the necrotic resistance. That'll be important later. Like I said, the Wandering Spirits are revealed around your person, so make sure to be moving towards enemies and have the Wandering Spirits be spawned on top of them. That will help out your clear significantly early on. Thankfully, I think Chthonic Fissure is some of the best leveling in the entire game. Like, it's hard to say if it's better than Glacier or not. Like, I think it's on the same pace as Glacier is. I have to talk to him. You do have to actually talk to this guy to move on. But then once you talk to him, you can just ignore this and move on. But yeah. Definitely one of the better leveling specs in the entire game. Definitely, if not as good as Glacier, it's on second. If it's not as good as Glacier, it's second. Definitely second. I can't... Like, Rogue might be as strong with, like, Falconer, but I haven't played Falconer, so through my objective opinion... I put Chthonic Fissure higher than Falconer, obviously, because, because I'm totally not biased whatsoever. But yeah, the rotation early on is simply cast Rip Blood on cooldown, and then cast your Wandering Spirits and benefit from all that extra damage. Arcane Absorption, very strong, very, very needed. Lots and lots of damage. Remember, whenever you need like a distraction, make sure to summon like a minion. They help out a lot in terms of not dying, turns out. Physical resistance is god tier right now. Any amount of physical resistance you want to like suck dick for, it's very, very good. Even having 20% physical resistance at this point in the campaign is really strong. Someone in chat is asking, how long does the campaign take usually? So if you're new, it takes like maybe 10 hours or something like that. But like once you get better at the game, usually it takes around 2 to 3 hours. It could be even faster if you want it to be. But like generally around, for me, it takes around 2 to 3 hours to finish a campaign run. Because I usually enter the Monolith of Fate at level 40, which is like when we'll be ending, when we kill A-Bomb.
I'm sure you have questions, but let me first check and make sure the Epoch's safe. Good.
I believe the way it works is you do this, and then you can leave. I'm not entirely sure how this works, if you can leave now. I don't want to brick the run because of it, so we're just going to talk to them. But I'm pretty sure you can leave when the moment that like the animation plays, but I can't remember exactly, and I don't want to brick my run.
Everything okay?
Actually, I want the Ignite on hit.
Everything
Ignite a
okay?
hit is important later because the way that we're going to be leveling with Chthonic Fissure is going to be generic damage over time. So not necessarily too specific, like you just grab as much ailment chance as possible while also grabbing spell damage as well. Like you're just grabbing all of the damage over time. Remember, rares drop rare gear on kill, so you can always end up with decent gear this way. Make sure to always, like, not always stop for rares, but if you can kill a rare very quickly, just like kill it real quick, right? Like I said, for this leveling guide, I'm going slower on purpose so that I can describe things as I'm doing it. But you know, if you're like if you've played as much as me, you'd be able to just finish this very quickly. Now, Bone Curse ends up being a lot of damage early on, in general. Bone Curse, just what it does is it applies a mark to the enemy that deals flat damage whenever you hit them. If you are hitting the target, it's like 75% of your damage effectiveness, and if a minion is hitting it, it's like 25%. It pretty much just doubles your Rip Blood hits when you're like on a single target or whatever. Early on, that ends up being a lot. Silver Rings are god tier. Any amount of movement speed early on is the most important thing. Having movement speed is like worth almost dying for, because movement speed is bae. You want cast speed right now? Cast speed is a direct more damage multiplier to your damage currently. I would put rate cast speed over physical resistance right now, mainly because cast speed means you get more casts of Rip Blood, which means you get more damage, because you get more flat damage from Arcane Absorption. Cast speed is like god tier early on, and then later on, it's just nice quality of life. Make sure to kill every single nemesis and every single loot lizard you come across. They drop copious amounts of crafting materials, which are like very good for you early on because it allows you to manipulate your gear into something you want. Because one of the bigger problems in general is just having access to runes of shattering and runes and glyphs of hope and all that early on. So just having more access to all that is very important. As you can see, I'm getting a lot of nice upgrades from this, which I'll explain in a moment. Cast speed here is really good. Cast speed here is also really good, right? Percent damage over time is very good for stuff as well, because it scales all of our damage at once, right? This is a large amount of necrotic percent damage. That's actually a good weapon for us right now. Now, normally what you would do is if you didn't end up with a good weapon like I did just there, you'd pick up this pike here that has ignite chance and spell damage, but I picked up a good weapon, so you just ignore that. But yeah, I would pick up spell damage percent to shatter it later, stuff like that. Remember, don't be afraid to use your stash early on. Do not be afraid to dump your stash. You can always empty it out later. It'll take like maybe 1 to 2 stashes at most to like get through the early game, and then once you get into the end game, it's not as bad. Definitely abuse your stash early on, because like you can store a lot more items than what's in your inventory. Here we're gonna be grabbing Wandering Spirits, and then we're gonna be grabbing all points into Spirit Swarm, so we get as much cooldown recovery speed as possible. We want the rotation of doing Wandering Spirits as quickly as possible. We want it to be up as possible. I've tried the other way around, where I went for cooldown recovery speed first and then went for Arcane Absorption on Rift Blood, but I have found that it's actually better to go Arcane Absorption first, because it ends up just being significantly better damage than like having the cooldown and all that. So this is an insane staff to get right now. Not only does it have 7 flat mana, 7 flat damage, it also has percent damage on it and ignite chance. This is like absolutely perfect for us. Absolutely just amazing for us right now. Like, so far our gear is pretty good for Act 1. Yeah, I'm gonna dump these items. Because we don't need those anymore. I don't need that. I don't need that.
You're here for the Epoch. Reaching me was impressive.
Cool. Now you're about to see what it looks like to have a Wandering Spirits on your bar and Arcane Absorption set up. Trust me, it is hilarious. Watch this shit. Well, if I can actually see his HP bar, thank you. Look at that. We literally did half his HP in 1 attack. We literally did half his HP in 1 attack, dude. It's amazing. Watch this now. Wait a moment. Wait, the boss is dead? Wait, how did that happen? Isn't that crazy? Oh my god, he died so fast. Wow, look at that. All right, cool. I gotta make a snapshot real quick. 1 moment here. That's why Arcane Absorption is powerful early on, if you're wondering. Also, as well, the boss has a gigantic hitbox, so each Wandering Spirits can apply its damage very easily when it spawns. I'm going to delete this old channel. It failed. Make a new one. Acolyte leveling. 1 through 8. Nice. Cool. All right. Now we can go and grab this guy. Thank you. And go back to town here. Yep, Wandering Spirits is amazing.
You're back. No, dude, Lena. I'm so sorry.
I love listening to his voice when you're like spamming through that. It's so fucking funny, dude. All right, now we're to Act 2. This is where we're going to get access to Chthonic Fissure and swap into Chthonic Fissure and Infernal Shade here, eventually.
What just happened? This place is
Just so you know, like I said, I am doing this live. If any of you are in chat and you're wondering what's going on, I'll look at the pinned comment currently. Why are you doing this live, Dread? Why didn't you record this the other day? Well, you see, my friend, I was busy. Busy banging your mom. No, I'm joking. But seriously, though? Oh my goodness, have I been so busy. I've had so much work to do over the past few days, it's not even funny.
And who are you?
Transplant is an insane ability for you early on. It literally is your friend. Skyrelia, thanks for the follow. You guys can get into the YouTube video if you guys sub or follow, by the way. We're going to be grabbing Bone Aura. The reason why is not only are we farming Aura, we're also, that armor is really strong. Essentially, when we grab all 8 points out of this, we'll be at like 20% less hit damage total. Like, pretty much when we have all 8 points in this, we'll be at like 20% less hit damage taken. That's a lot for early on. It's a lot, and it scales decently into endgame as well. Like, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. Like, early, like, level 9 or whatever, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of armor. Yeah, this is where we can finally start zooming here. Transplant should just be used off cooldown, pretty much. You should just be aiming towards the end of the screen, using Transplant off cooldown. It's very good indeed. And we're just going to be leveling like this the whole time. To be honest with you, nothing too crazy. Just follow the objectives. Get to there. Skyrelia, thanks for the sub. This looks boring. I guess Acolyte's not for me. This is level 10. This is what Acolyte looks like at level 10. Like, every class is boring at level 10. Alright, we're just gonna take a chill pill for a little bit. Now, of course, now, there's going to be some portions of this leveling process where I'm pretty much not going to have anything to say for the actual leveling, because, like, once you get the setup going with the Chthonic Fissure and Infernal Shade, it kind of just takes over, and you don't really need to think as much, right? So, just so you know, just so you're aware, right? Oh, I forgot to make a timestamp. Okay, I'll make a timestamp later, don't worry. I'll fix that later. I'll make a timestamp later, don't worry. I just forgot to put in a timestamp. As you can see, Wandering Spirits and Rift Blood, very, 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 very good early on. I am doing well today, Nacho Plays. I am doing well, thank you. Right now, what I'm looking for is movement speed, and I just need movement speed pretty much right now. I'm missing movement speed currently. Like right now, my main prerogative is getting movement speed. So that's actually a good question in PK. MPK just asks, is it worth picking up all items, going back to town to sell constantly, or skip most items? So unfortunately, last Epoch, your items mean nothing to the vendors. They sell for nothing, pretty much, right? They sell for nothing. So picking up items to sell is not what you want. You should be picking up items based on what affixes they have to put on your own gear. So like using runes of shattering, for instance, right? Runes of shattering, using runes of removal, right? That's what you should be going for. You shouldn't be going for the price of the item. That's actually a good question. Physical resistance idol, that is absurd right now. That is like one of the best idols you can get right now. That is like probably, I'll be honest, like probably the best in slot idol you can get. Now we are doing this little side quest here. The reason why we're doing this little side quest is we want a pair of unique gloves. These pair of unique gloves give us 3% of elemental damage leech's life, which doesn't sound like much, but this on top of everything else that we're gonna, oh god fucking damn it, everything else that we're gonna be doing, right? It's gonna be great. We want as much leech as possible. The reason why we want as much leech as possible is because there's a certain portion of the game where you're going to be having a lot of dot damage shoved down your throat, right? Like an absurd amount of dot damage shoved down your throat. So having as much leech as possible is very important for your overall enjoyment of the video game. Sustain is king. Having a lot of sustain is good. So we're going to finish this quest here. Here you go. Put on Avarice. This is going to stay on pretty much for the entire run. As you can see, this quest here with Urza gets it. Very good. Very, very good. Add more armor. How do you know which side quests to do and which to skip or do all? So in this video, we're actually going to be doing all of the side quests that you need to do. But Last Epoch Tools has a section called a checklist, and you can actually go there and it'll tell you everything. Or you can actually press this and you can see how many you need left still. Now, to give you an idea of why this kind of combo works so well in the game right now, why what I'm doing right now is doing so much damage, is because most skills at base have 20 flat damage at base. Most skills with 100% damage effectiveness. So pretty much as I'm attacking, I'm adding 8 flat to them. So if I attack 3 times with it, right, I can end up with, shit, 1 second. Oh, fuck, I gotta think here. I'm ending up with double my damage each time I attack 3 times, and for within a period of 6 seconds. So if I attack a bajillion, it's so much more damage. It is a lot of damage. Oh, I went the wrong way. Of course I did. It wouldn't be a dread leveling video if you did not go the wrong way. It would not be a dread leveling video without going the wrong way, huh? Remember to cast Rip Blood on things you want to kill. Rip Blood still doubles your damage with your Rip Blood, so very important. Transplant helps you get out of sticky situations like that. Very useful. Now we're going to be grabbing cast speed for Rip Blood. You want as much cast speed as possible for Rip Blood for maximum damage output. See here, you want to be standing in the middle of them all so you can get as much damage as possible on them. Beautiful. That's a terrible pair of gloves. We don't need that. That pair of gloves is bait. You'd rather have Evade early on. Evade's much stronger. Swiftness also scales with level, so you don't even get the max bonus from Swiftness until like 20 billion times later. So Yeah. Swiftness is kind of bait for early on, unfortunately. Make sure to look for shrines like this. They can make your leveling experience go from meh to amazing, depending on what you grab. Look at this. Lightning Blast feels really good, as you can see. Silver Ring, even if it's 3% movement speed, it's better than nothing, right? To reiterate the kind of stats we're looking for, we are looking for movement speed, percent spell damage, percent damage over time. We're looking for cast speed. We're looking for physical resistance. We're looking for HP, and then we're looking for any other amount of resistances at that point. After that, and in that order, that's what we care about. Now watch this boss. Hey, look, he's dying. Look how fast he's dying. Isn't that funny? Already hard. It's like as if this is good or something. Spell damage percent, amazing. All right, we can leave. Thank you. Oh boy, Wandering Spirits is a fun skill, man. Hopefully they don't nerf it. If they do, it's fine. I mean, the thing is, though, even if they nerf it, it's still going to be better than everything else. That's a very unfortunate reality of Last Epoch right now, is the balance is so out of whack. They could nerf everything that's really strong right now by half or by 80%, and they would still be the strongest things in the game. Like, why would I try to level with minions? They're shit. Right? Minions are garbage. Why would I level with that, right? Like, to make me level with minions, you would have to literally, like, force me to. This has poison spell hit. We would normally grab this and put it on my character, but for the posterity of this run, I'm not going to put it on my character. Like, for the integrity of the run, I'm not going to put it on my character, but this is something you should be doing, because we're going to be hitting a lot with Chthonic Fissure, so access to anything that gives you copious amounts of ailment on hit is very good for you. You are going to be grabbing that percent damage over time spear, though, for later. Haunter076, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the corner, sir. How are you doing on this fine and wonderful evening? Read the pinned comment if you haven't already. All right. Spirit Plague. Spirit Plague isn't really that good, unfortunately, right now. I think Bone Curse is better, if I'm not mistaken. So it's fine. So normally I would drag a shot. He just said, by the way, given that new people are likely to join your stream, it may be a good idea to preface such comments such as minions are shit with wider explanation of what I mean. That's what I mean. Minions are shit right now. I'm not moving from my hill, man. I'm not. You can't make me. I'm not apologizing. I am not apologizing. I am not apologizing. If you want to go fast as possible, minions are garbage. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the best explanation. I can see here, we're just, you know, running through. We're about to get access to Chthonic Fissure, which is when the leveling gets a lot better. Mana regen's important later when you run Chthonic Fissure, because Chthonic Fissure is a mana hog, so having a decent amount of mana regen's good. Thanks for the follow, whoever that was. Is melee shit. No, melee is like one step above minions. It's like the literally the rung right above. Cast speed, we will definitely want that cast speed, thank you. Cast speed, best speed. Reducing cast speed, I mean making more cast speed, reducing our cast time means that we can focus more time on running from A to B. Oh my goodness, ow. Don't stand in that. It's not a good idea. Don't stand in that. Unfortunately, Wandering Spirits isn't as effective against enemies like this that have smaller hitboxes, specifically of the smaller ass variety, i.e. like Oribus, the Lady Harbingers, where they are not packing it in the back, if you get my drift. Unfortunately. But for the larger enemies, like big dragons and stuff like that, Wandering Spirits is a lot more effective.
Seems he fails to handle the Void's power. So much for their mighty elder. Pathetic.
Coming to YouTube near soon, Dread's Thickness Last Epoch Boss Thickness Tier List. Which boss is the thickest of them all? Alright, we're gonna grab our mastery.
I warn you, your will must be absent. Then
Alright, we're gonna be choosing Warlock.
and focus on. I see that.
Okay, we have access to Chthonic Fissure. Now, unfortunately, with the way that skill specializations work, it's better that we just simply put Chthonic Fissure on our bar, and we don't we don't unspecialize out of Wandering Spirits yet. Because Wandering Spirits is still a lot of DPS, and the base version of Torment also has a lot of DPS as well, right? So don't unspecialize out of your Wandering Spirits or your Rip Blood yet. It's better to specialize into Chthonic Fissure at 20, and then and then after a certain point, you're actually going to be able to specialize into Infernal Shade eventually, which you'll see. Now for the rest of the points, we're just grabbing percent damage. Like I said before, though, you can abuse access to your stash for items that you want to shatter later that you don't have shattering runes for now. It's very good to do this, as it just allows you to hoard items for later. You do want to grab this, because at this point you should actually have enough gold to buy a Rune of Shattering. Runes of Shattering are God tier early on, very important for you, because they allow you to craft on things that you're going to want. You're going to want all these shards that we're picking up and stuff like that later, so we can craft good gear, so we do good damage. If you need to do more damage in the campaign, if you feel like you're not doing enough, craft on your gear. Now, pretty much the leveling now at this point is casting Chthonic Fissure, then casting Wandering Spirits. Chthonic Fissure, Wandering Spirits. Then use Transplant. That is the leveling that we are currently doing now. Chthonic Fissure, Wandering Spirits. Much like cooldown casters in Grim Dawn, pretty much, as you'll see here, when we get there, Chthonic Fissure, Wandering Spirits. That's it. That's your leveling for the next few levels. So have fun with that. Very, and of course, when we get to a boss, we can just keep attacking with Rift Blood in the downtime when we need to do more damage, right? Holy fuck, I hate these guys. They like lock you in place with the entangling root, and it's very annoying.
Death will not take me.
Good question. Chatter said, I have horrible luck when transitioning to Chthonic Fissure. I feel like there's a time gap between when Chthonic Fissure starts producing solid DPS. Am I wrong about that? No, you are not wrong about that. Generally, speccing into Chthonic Fissure immediately isn't really worth doing. So here, we are going to challenge this, and we're going to grab that Arboreal Circuit. I want as much movement speed as possible. It does take a second for Chthonic Fissure to start scaling. Thank you. Movement speed is best speed, am I right? Okay, we're going to put it over this one. Thank you. Yeah, so the biggest problem with moving into Chthonic Fissure is it's based on Torment, and Torment scales really hard on the nodes inside the tree. So if you don't have the nodes inside the tree, right, it's not worth, like, it doesn't help that much. But the idea is it's kind of passive damage. The idea is you just do damage passively, and that allows you to run like I'm doing right now. See how I can run and keep moving? It allows me to kill things, right, and then move, which is absurdly important. Cool. Alright, loot lizard time. Like I said, make sure to chase down loot lizards. Trying to lose my deathless tag here. Also, the game is lagging. Really trying to get my deathless tag here. Really trying to get my deathless tag here, huh? Okay, then we're going to grab the reduced reveal range. The reduced reveal range is very important because it helps your wandering spirits overlap more on single target. You want your wandering spirits to be overlapping on single target. It's very important because that's how like they do damage. Okay. Cool.
Greetings. Farewell.
Well-ridden ruins. I thought thought this would be satisfying, but I feel nothing. No matter.
All right, cool. Sorry about that. I had to check a message. Like I said, make sure to abuse your transplant. It's your most valuable skill early on. Being able to jump over enemies is very important for moving through monos, because the idea is we can damage enemies while not being on the same screen as them. So we should be abusing that immensely. Should be just abusing that in general. Nice little skips that we can do with transplant, helps out immensely. As you can see, once we get access to Chthonic Fissure and Wandering Spirits, that's when our clear gets like really good, and we can kind of just completely ignore enemies, and it feels just amazing. This is when it starts feeling buttery smooth, right? Sorry, the game is lagging a little bit, unfortunately. I don't know what's going on with it. Recently, it started lagging a lot more. I don't know why. We might have to restart the game in the middle of this. I'm hoping we don't have to, but you know, if we have to, we have to. Also still deathless. Hopefully we keep the deathless tag. It was trying to tempt fate. It was trying to tempt fate. It was lagging the moment that I was in the middle of a bunch of mobs. Really trying to tempt fate today, huh? Alright, this is where we get access to Infernal Shade. Now, when we get access to Infernal Shade, pretty much what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be unspecializing out of... Well, we're going to be specializing it as a third skill, I think. If I'm not mistaken. One moment here. We're going to keep Rip Blood on the bar for a little bit. So Infernal Shade is going to be what we swap into in plus Chthonic Fissure, as you'll see later. But right now, Rip Blood is still a large portion of our damage on single target, so we're going to keep it for now. That is a good item to swap into now. As double damage pretty much on it, which is good. Double damage rolls on a good stat base. Very nice. Because our Torment and our Wandering Spirits are both necrotic damage. Beautiful. Nice. Okay, now we're going to be going up against the next boss in the campaign here. Cool. All right. Now after this boss is when we're going to be doing some respecking. Well, a little bit after this boss. Once we get to like level 20 for the skills and stuff, right?
Yes?
As you can see, plenty of damage right now. Beautiful. Okay, we are gonna... Are we? Nah. I mean, that's a lot of percent damage, so... Yeah, we'll grab the percent damage over time. That's better than the mana regen there. All right. Like I said, same rotation, Chthonic Fissure, Wandering Spirits. Okay, now for passive points, we're going to be grabbing Survival of the Cruel at the base of Lich. That's because this spell damage leech is very important for early on, mainly because we want it so that we don't die, pretty much. Sustain is really strong early on, and just having access to 4% leech like that is just crazy strong. As you can see about what I said about the armor earlier, we grabbed all that armor at the base of Acolyte, and now we're at 22% less damage taken from physical, which is very important. Normally I would stop, but I don't want to stop in this zone, mainly because like it's very easy to die accidentally in this zone. As damage starts to ramp up here, specifically the Void fused stone. We'll just banish that. Normally I would kill that, but like I said, this zone sucks. Ooh, haste. Nice. Okay, we're getting very close to when we're going to be swapping into the Chthonic Fissure Infernal Shade sub, which we'll be leveling with for the rest, you know? Okay, idols aren't too important for this build, so we can just skip that lizard. No, 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 no. I don't want to lose my deathless. Thank you. Stupid damage over time, man. Damage over time, always causing problems. There you go. More leech. That should help that a bunch. Ooh, that was getting a little close there. Definitely don't just stand in that. For sure. For sure. More cast speed as always. Yeah, just kind of making enemies walk into your wall of damage over time is very good. Yeah, we're gonna kill this lizard, I think. Pick up that Rune of Ascendance. We're not gonna be using it this run, but you should be picking up Runes of Ascendance and using them. Specifically, something you could use Runes of Ascendance on, if you don't need them for something specific, is pairs of boots. Because you can end up with really good pairs of boots. Like that, for instance. The Terror's Path is just a very good pair of boots in general, as it gives you a lot of flat life and movement speed early on. Stuff that you wouldn't have access to if you don't have a good pair of boots. Okay, this is when we specialize into Chthonic Fissure. Now, once we get to a certain point in Chthonic Fissure, we can actually swap out of what we're currently running. Oh shoot, I fucked up. 1 second. Okay. And about 2 levels of Chthonic Fissure, we can actually swap into the Infernal Shade setup. Cool. Yeah, once we grab Return Below, we can actually swap into the Infernal Shade setup, which is what we're planning on doing.
This place once held so many secrets, so much power. It feels like been used for greatness. What has it been reduced to?
We're gonna kill that lizard. Always like lizards, especially the unique kind. Thank you. Hey, look at that movement speed. Beautiful. That is way better movement speed than we have right now. As you can see, now we can zoom. Yeah, getting a pair of unique boots early on is just very good for movement speed in general. You just want as much movement speed as possible, pretty much. Yeah, we're grabbing more reveal range, of course. Oh my god, I can smell my computer cooking right now, dude. More HP and leech. Beautiful wand right now, I think. No, it's not actually. I mean, good for shattering later. Okay, and then we'll just need one more point before we can swap into the Infernal Shade setup. Right now, we want to be able to swap into the Infernal Shade setup before we fight the next boss, because the Wandering Spirit setup starts to lessen significantly at this point. So we want to like swap out of it ASAP, pretty much. One more level. Another loot lizard, of course. We'll be able to craft some really good gear early on. Bond to the Erase is a very strong item for this build because it just gives you a lot of ward on hit, but we're not going to be putting it on. I'll put on movement speed gear, mainly just because like all it does is just make me walk faster. It doesn't like change the run in any quantifiable way. But specifically, stuff like that would change the run significantly because we'd be way tankier than you would be without one. Okay. All right, now we can swap into Infernal Shade. So how we're going to do this, we're going to swap out of Wandering Spirits here. Put Infernal Shade on our right click. Take out of this. Then we're going to put Transplant here. And then we're going to put Infernal Shade here. Beautiful. Then we're going to grab this. Then we're going to grab all three of these for the Haste and Frenzy. And then eventually we're going to grab the mana. And then now we have swapped into Chthonic Fissure and of course Infernal Shade. And then now we just cast Infernal Shade on our target here. Did I fuck it up? I don't know if I fucked it up there. One moment here. I don't know why it's not. There you go. Yeah, for some reason it wasn't working there. There you go. Yeah. It's gonna take a second, obviously, because we just respect. The problem with Chthonic Fissure early on is the mana. Like the biggest problem. That it will be the biggest problem you interact with early on. It'll be a lot easier later when we have just a few extra nodes. The respec wasn't like the best timing, but it's definitely better than what Wandering Spirits would be doing right now. So that's all that matters. Just kind of waiting for a mana. Hey, it almost feels like as though we're playing PoE 2 right now, huh? Alright, mana regen, that's really good for us. That's a very good ring for us. Okay, this is about when we start adding affixes to our gear. We want as much mana regen as humanly possible, currently. Mana regen is very important for us, as you can tell there. Good example of why we need mana regen on our gear, by the way. There you go. That should feel a little bit better. Cool. Now we can make a snapshot real quick here. And a timestamp. Mighty Apple sinks to the fall up in the corner. Okay, making a snapshot. But yeah, unfortunately, early on, mana is going to be tough. But once we fix the mana problem, everything is going to be amazing, usually, with this build. Well, 8 to 22, and timestamp of this happening is 107. Nice. All right, now we can continue to Act 3. We're on pace, if not better, currently. But yeah, we should be doing fine now. Cool.
I built the seek out the outcast, leader of the living.
All right, cool.
The epoch, the rest will be up.
At this point now, we're just kind of we're going to be zooming at this point. If I'm not mistaken. We could craft on our gear a little bit more though. So we're going to do that real quick. We're going to take a pit stop. You have 20 runes of shattering. Might as well use them, right? Use this rune of ascendance on our pair of boots. Oh, is that better? No, it's not. Yeah, it's not better. Cool. Cool. Nice. Okay, we'll wait on that. Alright, that should be good. Although I'd like an amulet with like better stats on it, to be honest. That's much better. Mana regen's great. Actually, this might be better than the staff that we're using right now. It is better than the staff we're using right now. Then ignite on hit on the suffix for just some free damage. Beautiful weapon right now. Like I said, for stat priority, like I said, movement speed, physical resistance, spell damage percentage, damage over time percentage, physical resistance, like I said, other resistances, and HP, pretty much. There you go. Now we can just relax a little bit here. Pretty much the combo now is just put down Chthonic Fissure, then cast Infernal Shade on things for them to die. Pretty much. Here, grab the rest of the leech here. I mean, I guess we do just put on Wandering Spirits on the bar. Forgot that we do that. Thank you. Get that 10 mana flat. Now we're going to get plenty of mana back. This is like when we start getting plenty of mana back. Okay, another node in Wildfires. We want to get to the explosion node inside Infernal Shade. Now, to explain what's going on right now, Pretty much we're putting down chthonic fissure, right? And as the spirits torment enemies, they'll pop the Infernal Shade and make it do all of its damage instantly. So Infernal Shade is spell damage over time skill that does its damage over time. And the idea here is we want it to deal its damage instantly so we can spam it on a single target and do a lot of damage. That is currently the concept behind what we're doing. Thanks for the follow that was, by the way. Then now we're going to be grabbing the Spirit Current here, Stygian Current here. Just trying to not lag here. It's not nice. The lag that I'm currently dealing with right now is not nice. As you can see, now that we have actual mana regen, as you can see, our damage is through the roof. That was like what we were mainly waiting for here. Definitely make sure to get more mana regen than I did early on.
Gods be with you.
Okay, now what we're going to be grabbing is more mana regen from Soul Stealer. This plus the curse on the mana curse on hit thing is a good way of getting a bunch of extra mana quickly. Okay, cooldown recovery speed for transplant's good. One more point, and then we can really see what this build looks like. Thank you. Anything good from you, Mr. Lizard? Nothing crazy. All right. Eventually, you are going to want to get some ailments on your gear and stuff like that. But right now, it's not too big of a deal. Whew. No, we did not get patch notes. That's tomorrow. Alright, cool. That's a nice item. Although, I think this is better, yeah. What we're running right now is better, because we want the percent damage, for sure. Okay, nothing too crazy here. For anyone new in the chat right now, just read the pinned comments so you understand what's going on here. More mana regen, of course. Getting that mana regen will make us feel so much better on single target, trust me. That's like our main thing that's keeping us back right now on single target, is that. Unfortunately, Infernal Shade and Chthonic Fissure, the way we're building it, costs a lot of mana, but it's 100% worth it, as you'll see. 100% worth it. Eventually, we'll cut out Wandering Spirits in a moment here. Okay, more cooldown recovery speed for Transplant. Alright, this is where we cut out Transplant. I mean, not Transplant, I mean Wandering Spirits. Now, watch this. Pop! This is where the pops begin. This is where it feels a lot better, trust me. Pop. Once we get more ailment chance, it'll feel really good. Ah, big pop. Beautiful. Spirit frequency also helps out a lot. Big pops. Yeah. That's more like it, baby. Yeah. This is where the real leveling starts. As you can see. Now, our focus right now is going to be some amount of ailment chance on our items. We want ailment chance, damage over time percentage mainly. Yeah, that explosion is really good, if you're wondering. The explosion scales really hard later on, as you'll see. Once we start getting some ailment chance and stuff, it's going to be insane. Oh no, my deathless tag! I was crit! You fiend! 5%, 5%, can no longer call it deathless. Unfortunate. Who cares? No one plays hardcore anyways. Unfortunate. Unfortunato. Oh well. Who cares? I'll just do leveling guide in the thumbnail. Ooh. Just edit it out. God, so dumb. Ooh. Then someone's gonna be like, I made a deathless Acolyte leveling guide, thank you. Mainly casting Infernal Shade triggered the pop earlier. No, it does not. Not hardcore viable. Sure, buddy. So fucking dumb. Such a dumb concept. How dare I look at chat for 1 second? See, this is why I usually don't stream on these. I blame Twitch chat. Thanks to the follow. Also, I blame this lag. My frames, dude. Where are my frames at? So the pop is coming from Chthonic Fissure, currently. Okay, we're going to be grabbing the AoE and the more damage from the explosion. That will scale ailments, by the way, which is why it's so strong. As you can see, our single target is a lot better now that we have access to mana regen. Any amount of it, anyways. Beautiful. Anything crazy here? No, not really. All right, continuing on here.
I am not
Yeah, I'll only slow you down.
All right, this is where all that spell damage leeches life is important. Like, this is where all the spell leech damage as life is important, because the damage over time in this portion is absurd. Just absolutely absurd. But as you can see, our clear and our damage is good enough to not matter. That's why we went for all that damage leeches life, by the way, from our avarice, and our spell damage leeches life is specifically for this moment. These zones here, the next few zones that we're going to be going in, do so much ailment damage that it is like annoying as hell to try to go through this zone without it. All of my characters over the past like maybe 3 years have been specifically tailored, at least for leveling, to make sure to have this zone be comfy as possible. Because this is probably the most difficult, this is like literally the most difficult part of the campaign, in my opinion. Because just the copious amounts of damage over time and Hydra Poison. Now we did get the mana on hit, on curse hit. That's just very strong in general, this node, because it gives us a lot of flat mana on hit, and it pretty much makes Chthonic Fissure pay for itself, which is very nice. What's the best thing about this game? Seafood Explosion asks? The skill system. Sorry I'm not answering much. If you're new to chat, read the pinned comment. Unfortunately, you guys caught me at the worst time ever, because I do have to finish this, because I don't have that much time. And we're going to be grabbing Anemia next. Grabbing more Explosion AoE. Or, of course, Explosion AoE is going to be very good for our clear. Now, we're going to be grabbing Chaos Flames. The reason why is this will give us a lot of ailment chance for both for our Chthonic Fissure and for our Infernal Shade at the same time. We want as much ailment chance on our gear as possible, pretty much. Because we are now transitioning into an ailment build, which is like what we want to be doing at this point. Well, ailment spell damage hybrid, anyways. Okay, this part is just really annoying. This guy. If you stand still, he puts like the stuff around you, but not on top of you. So standing still ruins that boss. Very melee friendly boss, I might add, while we're at it. Totally.
They were the same, content to slither through the shadows.
Okay. So much lag. Oh my goodness. Copious amounts of lag. Cool. Getting your passive point here. More ignite chance on hit. It died an honorable death. It's built on my YouTube channel. Yes, it is. Called Everything Bagel Walk. We're doing a detailed leveling run of it, though, for YouTube currently. No, it comes from the shade. It comes from everything. If you look on YouTube, there's a whole video explaining how this build works. Thank you. More ignite on hit. I'll take that. Then now we can grab Of Gloom and Flame, which will increase our single target DPS. It's playable without weapon swapping. Only use wand. Yeah, but you'll do less clear. Your clear will be worse. If you're okay with your clear being worse, it will be worse. It makes sense in the video, Zolnir. Yeah, at this point, pretty much we're just done with the leveling. Like, pretty much the whole episode is done at this point, by the way, if you're still listening on YouTube. Like, pretty much it just autopilots itself at this point. You can pretty much just do the Everything Bagel Walk video and do just fine. The only reason we're playing at this point is just for, you know, just to show you guys the whole leveling experience instead of just, like, cutting now, right? Really wish it would stop lagging though. I'm not liking this lag that we're getting. We might literally have to restart the game because of this. There you go. Cool. Mana regen, we definitely want that. Beautiful amounts of damage. Does cost a bit of mana, but definitely worth it in the end. Definitely worth all the effort here. Eventually we get a better wand here. Just going through and upgrading my gear real quick here. Beautiful. Now 17 mana regen. That's much better. So I took Baylock into Empowered and did well until 600 Corruption. Is there a level you push it to? No, I haven't actually refined that build in trade or anything like that because it's new. It was completely new build pretty much that Antez and I came up with. Immolator's Ablation? No, not this version. This version's ailment based. It doesn't use immolators. We're not spell damage based in the end game. That's the other version that's on YouTube. That's the version that Antez pioneered.
Hidden, so word of advice. Don't ask her about the diamond matrons. You'll regret it.
All right, cool. Let me into the Oracle's abode, please. Thank you.
Can I help you?
Anything good here? No. All right.
Stay safe, traveler.
Grab this chick for later, quest-wise, and move on here. Now, this part of the campaign is... This part is the hardest part of the campaign. It is literally the hardest part of the campaign. Like, this is literally the hardest part of the campaign. By far. Mainly because of all of the physical damage here. All of the damage over time. And all of just the damage in general. The only reason that this looks anywhere near comfy right now is I have kitted out my character specifically to deal with this area. All of my leech that I have on my character right now, all of my damage, every single portion of my character is dedicated to making this zone not feel like crap. That is literally the whole point of every single leveling character that I have, is to not make this zone feel like giga crap. As you can see here, even with the copious amounts of leech that we have currently, we're still kind of struggling in terms of the amount of HP that we have. And like I said, that's just because of how disgusting this zone is. This zone sucks dick. It's very bad. If you have a bad time here, it's understandable. Everyone does, including me. Like I said, the only reason this looks anywhere close to being good is because I've done it a billion times, and I've also had to deal with it a billion times. And I specifically made the character around not dying there. So, cool. We're going to be putting more points in the Ignite chance. As you can see here, our mana situation is starting to finally manifest into something usable, which is nice. We did get a pair of Viterra's Blessing earlier, so lots and lots of movement speed and some extra HP on top of that. But now we can pretty much just zoom all the way to A-Bomb at this point, and pretty much all the way to the end of 10 out of 10 Harbingers. On YouTube, there's a more dedicated video to the end game of this build if you're interested. At this point, we're gonna be grabbing this Damned on hit. Just we want as much like damage over time as possible, and Damned on hit is very good for us for Sonic Fissure. We just want as much damage over time as possible now. Can you banish, please? Yeah, we might have to restart the game after this. This is getting so laggy. Definitely gonna have to restart the game after this. Hopefully that's something that comes in next patch. Dread, what are you most excited for next patch? Performance enhancements. cool. Nice. Goodness God, the lag. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's restart the game. We're gonna have to. This does not feel good currently.
You're the go. Hopefully, I will see you soon.
All right. All right, let's reload up the game. Ow, Jesus, sorry about that. Ow. All right, we should be good now, hopefully, in theory. Hopefully our frames are back. I would like my frames to be back. That'd be nice. Just one moment here. I'm checking a message. All right. Cool. Yeah, packet loss is still a thing. Oh, that was a crit. Oh, that was deadly and increased damage? Ew, dude. That was a lot of damage there, buddy. That was a lot of damage. More damage and more explosion AoE. Nice. But yeah, we're making a transition into dot damage, not just spell damage. The idea is we want as much ailment chance as possible everywhere, on our gear, on our stuff, like everywhere. Like for instance, that ring earlier that had this poison damage on hit, that'd have been pretty good right now. I just didn't pick it up because I thought it was overpowered for what we're doing. I did, like I said, I did put on movement speed gear, but all that does is just speed up the process. Like you'd be doing the same exact thing, you'd just be running slower. It's like whatever, who cares? You want movement speed anyways. So currently there is a bug with this build where if you cast an Infernal Shade right after casting an Infernal Shade, I mean, if you cast a Chthonic Fissure right after casting a Chthonic Fissure when one's still up, it will stop applying, it will stop applying the pop for Infernal Shade, which is bad for our DPS and stuff like that. So the only way to fix it currently is just simply wait after applying it, after casting it, and just let it like sit there for a bit, and then recast Chthonic Fissure. Unfortunately. Reroll already? What do you mean reroll already? We have to finish it. People want the whole thing. What are you talking about? We're getting this all the way to A-bomb. People need to see the exact movements of everything I do all the way up to A-bomb so they know the route. Like, I'm being slightly sarcastic there, but at the same time, like, there are people that want that, and that's what we're doing. We're catering towards them. Oh, yeah, we deleted the Sentinel character. We'll be using Atrophy eventually. On the endgame build, yes. Like I said, if you want to see what the endgame build looks like, !YouTube, and it'll be called Everything Bagel Lock. Okay, we're going to be walking over here. We do need to talk to Aldrich, which will be important later. Open door, thank you. We do want to talk to him because he's one of our passive quests.
I am from you. The heart of the citadel is beyond. There is an exit near the Emperor's throne.
That's not my position to give advice about that. Night Art. All right, now the next skill we're going to be grabbing on this list is going to be Spirit Plague. So Spirit Plague not only gives us a lot of bleed chance on hit on single target, it also gives us access to ward on hit. Now, as I grab this, I just want to let you know, this is getting nerfed next patch to only give you 400 ward per second at most. Okay? All right? We're all on the same page? Okay. So the ward numbers that you're going to see in this video are not going to be as easily replicatable as it will be in the next patch. Just pointing it out there, just making sure people know. Won't be the same exact amount of ward numbers, okay? Very important to understand that when we do this, okay? It will not be the same amount of ward that you'll see in this video. But it will still be usable and very good because we're not using it for the ward per se, we're using it for the damage. The ward is just like a side thing that we get access to. The damage is the most important part because it gives us 75% chance to bleed on hit, which we normally wouldn't have access to. Thank you for the follow, Erdness Erdtree. Okay, more damned on hit for more damage. Want all the damage ever. Okay. You can grab the bleed. Okay, that's not better than what we're wearing right now, unfortunately. Eventually, like I said, we want to swap into entirely ailments eventually. That's the plan. We just don't have access to it yet, obviously. Grabbing this bleed chance on hit. Pathing towards the node that gives her life back over 4 seconds. Okay, grabbing the last node in Fiery Conclusion. Thanks to the fall, whoever that was. Grabbing one more point. We're going to be grabbing Laceration. I'm sorry. It's 150% increased bleed chance. Thank you. Like 150% bleed chance is what we want here. Very large amount of damage for free. I'm sorry about that, old Varty. Thanks for the follow. As you can see, the build is really popping off now in terms of clear and stuff like that.
I never would have thought necromancy could be so glorified.
Been expecting you.
You shouldn't guess.
I've heard.
Beautiful, thank you. All right, and that's Act 4. So we're gonna take another snapshot. Yes, yes, it will have a cost. Yes, respecking will have a cost, the gold cost. Okay, this will be at 150. Nice. All right, now what we do is we just go get the rest of our passive slots and idle slots, and then we can move to monos. Oh my goodness, holy fuck. No, it's okay. We already lost our Deathless tag, so who cares at this point? It's okay. That'll happen. Unfortunately, I'm not really incentivized to kill things here because I've noticed whenever I kill anything here, it starts to like lag an absolute shit ton. So I have learned to not do too much damage to these things. Otherwise, they will lag my computer and fry it like a toaster. So I've pretty much learned not to try to kill these. It's why I'm just running past them. I am not mute. No. No, I'm here. Yeah, unfortunately, this zone's annoying. Do you think the multi-strike team would be big buff? No, no, it won't be. That's not, those two don't go together. It's a different build. Two different builds. Can I not? Thank you. Jesus fuck. No Fizz Res, Andy, here. To be fair, if I focus more on putting like resistances on my gear and stuff, I wouldn't be nearly as squishy right now. But at this point, I'm just zooming because I can. I'm just zooming because I think I can. Oh boy, our 0 FPS cutscene, baby.
Be gone from this land. My flames will scour this place. Soviet then perish. At death. I do not have much longer. Go north. Retrieve the lands.
Put your weapon and did far here.
The death of a god. Such power. I can feel the weight of his soul in the air. It's
All right, cool.
intoxicating almost.
I wouldn't go very far with it at all. Your clear would be awful the whole time,
Is the largest
and I
threat.
would hate every moment of it.
Freeing Mortitus is what we must do.
Yes. Farewell.
Cool. There's a reason why I didn't finish the whole 10 out of 10 run on that guy.
Death will not take me.
All right. At this point, pretty much we're just finishing up the campaign to Tree Man because we're trying to just get the rest of our passives in idle slots. It's about like a good stopping point for the campaign in general. All right, cool. What build will be your starter? Patch notes. Can you, like, not do that, please? Thank you. So annoying getting stunned when I'm trying to do things. Thank you. Okay, Spine Rod is a pretty good upgrade for us in general. So is an Ivory Wand. That'll be actually a pretty good upgrade for us because one of the biggest things, getting minus mana cost is very important. As you can see, very large effect here. Although this might just be better, to be honest. Although the problem is we need to like pull off a suffix. There you go. So we can get like ailment on hit mainly. Yeah, we just want all of this, to be honest. Nope, none of it. Cool. Beautiful. Beautiful, then damage over time. Did I not get a single shard for it? Alright, cool. There you go, damage over time. That's what we want. Beautiful. I think that's a better item now. Yeah, pretty much it is, I think. Yeah, because this was spell damage. Yeah, this is much better for us. Cool. Alright. Spine Rod gives us a lot of % damage over time here. Very nice for us. Because now we're an ailment build. Pretty much we are now an ailment build. If you did not know, we are now an ailment build. We are no longer a spell build. We'll be doing a respec here in a moment. Thank you. Okay, more mana regen. Want all the mana regen possible. Now, instead of going over here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the end of the time real quick. We're going to do a quick respec.
Hello, traveler.
So we're going to take all the points we had in Survival of the Cruel, now that we're no longer a spell damage build, and we're going to put it 6 into Spirit Leech, and then 1 here, and then eventually grab the Ignite Chance here. Those are the biggest changes that we're doing there. Now we can go back to the Divine Era and go and get the rest of our quests. Okay, come on, game. Thank you. More damned. Thank you. It's being dumb. There you go. Like I said, more mana sustain will help out later, as you'll see eventually. But now we are effectively an ailment build. Hey, plus the Chthonic Fissure. What a good chest. Look at that. Now we're going to grab more spirit frequency. More ignite chance, thank you. More bleed chance, thank you. By the way, you can just walk over the bridge. You don't have to wait for it to finish. Okay, now we grabbed all of the damage here. Now we're going to grab the damage here in Heart of Fire, which is another multiplicative more damage modifier. Thanks to the follow, whoever that was. This node. It reduces our radius a little bit, but the more damage is 100% worth it. I have like no cold res, so I'm being very careful here, as you can tell. Generally, you should just stop and get some cold res, but I want to finish this run already. That's physical resistance and mana regen. I'll take that, thank you. Although this is more mana regen, which I want more of, to be honest. As you can tell, our damage is starting to scale really high. Our damage is starting to scale pretty high now. Oh no, we grabbed it. Okay, thank God. More ignite chance. Beautiful. Yeah, we do have to wait a week, which is unfortunate. Thanks to the false ARU.
Will not take me.
I agree. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. There you go. It was a little spoopy there for a moment. Thanks for the follows, guys.
Left is locating the lance.
Damage? I hardly knew her. Cool. All right, now time to get the rest of our passive and idle slots. What's up, Ghost of Cambo? We're doing great. We're just doing a detailed leveling guide for Acolyte here. We're pretty much at the tail end of it. At this point, people should be pretty knowledgeable about what's going on with this build. Thanks for the unlimited LE content. Anytime, man. Anytime. Anytime. We're working on more of it right now. Okay, now we got all those quests done. Oh, we do need to talk to this guy, the Nomad Leader. One moment. There you go. Grab more of that. Now, you can go here and go to Yulia's Haven. That's the first stop. This is where we're going to do the side quest for Ulrich to get a passive point. What's up, Cast here? How's it going? We're just finishing up the detailed leveling guide here. Heck yeah, Cast here. It's a fun build. It's a fun build. We're just finishing up the detailed Acolyte run here today. Oh yeah, well it's Warlock because you can do the Master Respec next patch, so it doesn't matter what you choose here for next patch because this is meant for next patch, not meant for this patch. If that makes sense. Okay, that's our passive point for Ulrich here. Well, it's not Bagel Lock V2. This is just the detailed leveling guide of it so that people can see exactly where I go, what I take, stuff like that. We're pretty much done with most of it. We're to the point where like 99.99% of people won't get to, so it doesn't matter. But it's like whatever. WASD, there is WASD support next patch. Okay, now we're going to go to the Shining Cove to grab the Sapphire Tablet currently to get more passive points and more idle slots. I think it's a passive and idle slot, or is it just an idle slot? I can't remember. We'll figure it out in a moment. Passive and idols. Yeah, I thought so. Be costly. It's going to cost gold, and it's going to scale with level Govitron. Heck yeah, Ghost of Cambo. It's very fun, isn't it? Yeah, it's not going to be like insane or anything like that. Be careful. Don't expect like super smooth shit. Okay, we're going to go back to the Oracle's Abode now to get our passive point and our stuff. Okay. Nice. Now we're gonna go grab we're gonna go to the Risen Lake where we're gonna get another what is it called? Idle slot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you actually go to last Epoch tools and go to the checklist, it'll tell you everything of what you need to do, when you need to do it, and stuff like that. Thank you. More Ignite chance. Then now we're going to go to the Ancient Hunt in the Shattered Valley. Be nice alongside Ash's Mortality. Yeah, sure, it'd be fine. You'd need a lot of attributes though to make up for that. Like you need a lot of attributes, like 200, right? So make sure you have enough attributes. It's not necessarily, or is it 180? I can't remember. It's been a while. $180? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Cool. Now we're going to go to the council chambers to turn in our quest. Thank you.
Greetings. Do not
Beautiful.
have
Then we're going to go to the precipice.
Where are
Cool.
you going?
Grab this guy real quick. And we're going to go to the end of this zone here. Oh, that's understandable to cast here. All right. Kill this guy. Bam, get the passive point. Nice. Ignite chance. Then we're going to go to the Divine Era. And we're going to grab our last point in the Fortress Walls. Run through here. Grab this thing, kill it, then walk out of this door here. Talk to this guy, and then bam, we're done with the campaign. I'm gonna grab Damn Chance here. We are done with the campaign now. That's all you have to do for the campaign to be done with it. You can go and kill Majasa for the +1 to all attributes, but let's be real, unless you have Red Ring, that's not worth your time. Now, for loot filter, this will be in the Bagel Lock video, which will be in the description. This loot filter that we'll be using. Everything Warlock. Oh no, it's not this one. It's Everything Warlock. One moment here. No, why isn't it letting me use this filter? One moment here. One moment here. It's not letting me use my filter. One moment. So I don't know why it's not letting me use that. It's weird. All right, I'll be back in a moment here. We're gonna go grab that loot filter. For some reason, it's not letting me grab it from my thing, which is annoying, to be honest, but that's fine. You can That's fine. We can fix that. All right, one moment here. Okay, loot filter. Control A. The link to this loot filter that I'm going to be using will be in the description of the video that I post in the description, the full build guide. One moment here, I'm snagging it. I don't know why it's being so weird. Game. There you go. Beautiful. We got it now. Nice. All right, now we have the loot filter. Nice. Cool. This will be in the description of the other video, by the way. Cool. All right. Now we're just simply gonna finish A-bomb, but before we do that, I bought a bunch of MTX, so we're gonna use it. I like to call this Crack Glitch. Crack Glitch is so much fun to look at in general. I love Crack Glitch. It's like one of my favorite like MTX setups for Acolyte because she looks like she's on crack cocaine. It's amazing. I love it. Thanks to follow whoever that was. And then now we're just going to zoom through monos. At this point, we have done everything we need to. I should eventually craft more gear, but at this point, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Cheese curd lich, yeah. Running straight into monos, doing absolutely fine, doing plenty of damage. Not that big of a deal at all. Getting some levels as well. Very beautiful already. Oh, almost tried to get me there. One moment here. This is the bug here. Thank you for the gifted sub, Handsome Ben. This is in fact not an Umbral Blades build, as you can tell. Alright, cool. We're gonna grab this node. Grab this node. We're gonna grab more frequency for spirits as well, because we want as much spirit frequency as humanly possible. We're just finishing up this Acolyte leveling run for YouTube. Don't want that. So I have a few more? Sure? No, don't do it. No, 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 no. Don't do it. Don't do that. Thank you for the gifted subs, Handsome Ben. Wait, what are you talking about? XP node to the right? We don't care about XP. Those XP tomes give you barely anything. The XP tomes suck dick. These XP tomes suck dick. You ignore those. God damn it. I clicked on an arena. Arenas also suck dick while we're at it. Arenas also suck dick. Thank you for the gifted subs, Hampson Ben. You didn't have to do that. When you respec skills, yeah, it's good when you want to respec skills, but when at this point you're just wanting to zoom as quick as possible. At this point, I'm pretty much ready to take on A-bomb, to be honest with you. At this point, I just need like a wand with minus mana cost or a staff with minus mana cost, and we're good to go pretty much. Like, we can zoom at that point. Do Void dot Hammer Throw next? No, I can't do that one. That one's getting nerfed the most with the removal of Volatile Reversal. That's like one of those that like I legitimately won't do because I know it'll be bad. Like, it will literally be bad. Like, I'm not gonna like just try to shill for a build that I know it'll be bad, if that makes sense. I hope that the integrity makes sense. Like, I don't want to shill for something that I know is bad. Okay, we're swapping to this. The reason why is because it reduces mana significantly on both of our skills, and then we can go with the Catalyst as well. It'll be a little bit less damage, but the mana will be way better in general. Hopefully we can get a better wand eventually. Like this. This could be better in theory. Like, eventually we want a better wand though. Our wand's kind of shit right now. The stream content though, no. We just failed a build today. I don't feel like failing another build today, unfortunately. I don't like failing builds because it just sucks. It's not fun, it's just depressing. Because like stuff should work as long as you like put effort into it. Yep. I haven't read it yet, but I plan on reading it eventually. Okay, we're looking for a staff or a wand. I mean, that's kind of okay, but not really what we want. It's a fine relic. Tinky. Thanks, Babbling, anytime. Actually, Babbling has done videos on the Void.Hammerden, by the way. If you want to see the Void.Hammerden, I'll check out Babbling. He's done videos on it. He'll know the extent of the nerfs for Volatile Reversal for it. I would check him out for that. I think he's done it before. As you can see, swapping to the wand is much better on the mana here. As you can tell, much better on the mana. Much better on the mana. Or it doesn't feel awful, you know? Very important. First last E-Spock. How does it feel? It feels great. Feels great. But I'm biased, so. Yeah, swapping out of that staff sucks for damage, but oh my god, the mana is so much more tolerable now. I definitely want a staff with a better staff. Cool. Can I please? Thank you. Yeah, my problem is I don't know how you make up for the nerfs to Volatile Reversal. That's my only issue with that build. That is like my only like problem with that build.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go do something I normally don't do, but this is good to know for new players. If it's still gonna be there, yeah. One thing we're gonna do here is we're actually gonna go and gamble for a staff with minus mana cost and ailment stuff. That's currently our plan. That's a good start.
Looks powerful.
Mainly, we just want a staff with like ailment chance and percent damage.
Not bad.
Yeah. These Imperial Stabs are good
Excellent
ones
choice.
because they have minus mana cost on them.
Maybe it'll help you along the way.
No, that's not what we want. Unfortunately, wrong build for that. We just really want that minus mana cost. Because it's like so big in terms of making us feel better, right?
You have a good eye. Come back.
Okay,
again.
we tried. So we're going to go for this, I think. Yeah. We're going to go grab that poison chant as well. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to go get some damage over time percentage. I mean, Time Rot should be fine. It's just, like I said, it's still sketchy to me, right? Like, I don't really like the Volatile Reversal change, but we'll see if it ends up being good, right? I just don't want to promise people something that might just be terrible next patch, you know? That's why I personally don't want to do it. But, like, if you try it next patch and it's great, right? Who cares? I'm just very cautious with things like that because it could be really bad for all we know. Okay, that's all the damage over time we have access to, I think. Damn it. Beautiful. All right. We're going to grab Poison Chance on hit. Beautiful. That's what we want to see. Percent damage. Beautiful. Perfect stat. That's pretty much what we want. Right here, that's what we want. That's exactly what we want for a staff. Nice. All right, the rest of this run should be good now. Did I make a snapshot? I did make a snapshot, thank God. Like, I would definitely replay the build next patch before recommending it, pretty much, in my personal opinion. Some people won't do that. They'll try to recommend builds without testing things, obviously, because, you know, YouTube pays money, but still, just like, you know, generally a personal thing of mine. Okay, now we should be so much better. Oh my God, this is so much better already. Okay, damn chance. As you can see, our ailments are really starting to pop off here. Okay, don't want to touch the arenas at all because they suck. Yes, yes they will. Yes, yes they will, Maths dude. That's the whole point of them, pretty much. More damn chance. Because you want as much ailment chance as possible with this setup, to be honest. You just want it all the ailment chance. Whatever you can shove into it, right? If you're wondering why I'm skipping all the content, it's because I know this setup's pretty good. When you're actually leveling, you should be doing all the side content, but I'm pretty much done with this, but I just want to get to the end here. Just to prove that we can kill A-bomb very quickly with this setup. Just to prove the amount of DPS that we have. Like I said, completely ignoring side content. Normally I wouldn't do this, but we are strapped for time and we're almost done. Whoa, the lag! The lag! Lots and lots of dot damage. Automation changes? Rocking uniques in every slot? It depends. That's just it depends. 5 affix items are pretty good in general, but having 1 LP items is pretty strong as well. There's like a lot to talk about in that regard that it's not really like I plan on eventually talking about it, but that's a wait and see kind of thing currently. Profane Wand or Dragonhorn Wand? Upper Dragonhorn Wand for the cast speed for this build. You just want the cast speed. You're not actually dealing curse damage with this build. God, we'll have to grab all that reduced duration here eventually. Not right now, obviously, but like when you're playing the build later. Do you think Warlock will dominate? I don't think they could do anything to Lich to make it better than Warlock right now without massive reworks. We already know that there's going to be massive reworks for Lich in 1.3. That's what they said. We're getting like changes. All right, we're going to go hit A-bomb now. Like we're going to like pretty much apparently we're getting changes for Lich and Necromancer in 1.3. So I would wait until then to make your judgment on that. Gamer in Chief. Warlock, I mean, Lich has some pretty strong builds, but it's very niche builds, right? Well, Warlock has like a lot of different builds. Like, build diversity on Warlock is insane right now, while on Lich, it's like very small, very low. That Damned on Hit is absurdly strong. It's better than that Chthonic Fissure. By the way, Damned on Hit, that's absurdly strong for a build. Yeah. So we didn't lose anything, right? Yeah, we didn't. Good. Also, Warlock is just super comfy, as Babbling said. We didn't lose anything, right? Yeah, we didn't lose anything. We're fine. More Damned on Hit, very good. Poison on Hit, that's good. You just want all this ailment chance, all of it. It says ailment on it, it's good, pretty much, with this build, for the most part. Now we're gonna grab this mana regen at the bottom of Lich. Now we've gotten a lot of ailment chance, because, you know, more mana regen the better, so we can sustain this gigantic mana cost of a skill currently. Only ever heard of Torment? There's a lot of Warlock builds. You haven't even, no one, like, we haven't even scratched the surface of Warlock builds at this point. Goodbye. You're looking at one of them right now. My YouTube channel has a lot of Warlock builds, if you want to see different flavors of them. Trust me, we're not even scratching the surface yet in terms of Warlock builds. Ghost Fire is not really a build right now, unfortunately, but other than that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've played without Fissure before, Antez. We've played without Fissure. You can do it. It's possible and it's fine. It's like not like the strongest thing ever, but you can do without it. Not all of them are Fissure. Not all of them are Fissure. Profane Veil has some nasty stuff, right? Like, you don't have to actually just play it like Fissure. It's just, Fissure is just, yeah, it is a VR situation. That's because they pack so much utility into it. Even when you're not using Fissure, it just applies 2 curses, which is like 8% more damage, which is better than most skills. All right, we got our last skill here. We're going to put it in Bone Curse. We're going to grab 4 points here, 1 point here, 1 point in Oppressive Gaze. This will allow us to apply Bone Curse permanently on a target and also apply Mark for Death on them. And then we're going to be grabbing the Bleed Chance here at the end of Bone Curse here. And then that should be it for that. And we're going to go to the next zone. Thanks for the follow. I think Crit Warlock needs a little bit of help. Other than that, all right, we're going to kill this guy. You do need to kill these to move on. Thank you. Just remember, the ward that you're seeing in this video is getting nerfed next patch slightly. You won't be getting as much ward per second. Just so you know. All right, our A-bomb's down. And that's pretty much it for the leveling guide, guys. If you want to see a more detailed version of this build, or you want to continue the build, holy fucking Christ, imagine if I was doing a real run. What the fuck, dude? Holy crap. But yeah, all that being said, if you want a more detailed version of this build, go down in the description. There will be a build guide for that. But with all that being said, this has been Dread. Off to go do something else. Bye.